What's up, all my Ewokshibles, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings, or as I like to call it, Lord of the Downgrades, and how in the Vanity Fair exclusive article, they revealed that they actually fired their official lore expert. Now, their former lore expert was a gentleman by the name of Tom Shippey. Now, if you don't know who this gentleman is, he is literally the guy that wrote the book breaking down Tolkien and the world and the fantasy and all of the greatness that was, you know, his creative genius and Lord of the Rings. And here you guys go, like, just straight up, when you look at Google, what does it say? He is one of the leading experts on J.R.R. Tolkien. And so this is the gentleman that they fired, the actual expert. And the reason why they fired him was because he revealed, and I think that he probably thought that it was harmless, in my opinion, and that's just me making the assumption, but this show, there's a lot of legal rights surrounding it because the family is very, very, very protective of Tolkien's work. And so they aren't allowed, I believe, to use anything from the Silmarillion or the Third Age. And so they are specifically limited to using material from the Second Age, which is when the show takes place. And I think the showrunners got pissed about that, and that is why they removed him, like it says right here, that he was the one that, you know, let everyone know. And I'm sure that this was just like a harmless little thing. He probably got asked a question. He's like, oh no, they're not allowed to explore that. They're only allowed to explore this, you know, area of this time period. And because of that, they fired him, and this was his comment on it. It seems like the NDA is basically, if you tell anyone, we can put you through the wood chipper. Says Drought, and the Tolkien professor on Amazon no longer shares names of its scholars. Well, now that they have fired Tom, they have actually replaced him with a new lore expert, and that is what this video is going to be about, guys. I'm going to show you who this new lore expert is for the official Lord of the Rings television show. And I would like you just to take note that this show, it's going to cost, I believe for the first season, was over $400 million, and they estimate that doing all 5 seasons of the show is going to cost over $1 billion. So there's going to be over $1 billion invested in this TV show, and this person I'm about to show you is going to be their official lore expert of Lord of the Rings. Everyone meet Mariana Rios Maldonado. I hope that I pronounced that correctly. I have a terrible, terrible, terrible American accent, so I do butcher Spanish names. Now, let's look a little bit about Mariana. So she, is at the University of Glasgow with research project in ethics, femininity, and the encounter with the other in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth narratives. She is the Equality and Diversity Officer for the University of Glasgow Center for Fantasy and the Fantastic. Now, this was Mariana's response to the pushback for them doing race swapping in the Lord of the Rings show. When Amazon released photos of its multicultural cast, even without character names or plot details, the studio endured a reflexive attack of trolls. I disagree with this statement, but let me continue before I make my point. The anonymous online kind, obviously there was going to be push and backlash, says Tolkien scholar Mariana, but the question is from whom? I will answer that right now, from Tolkien fans. Who are these people that feel so threatened or disgusted? Nobody feels threatened or disgusted by the idea that an elf is black or Latino or Asian. I'm going to answer you right now. No one is disgusted by this. Absolutely no one. The problem that they have is that you're breaking the lore of the universe that Tolkien created. Now, this is my friend Steven's tweet, and I retweeted it, and guys, everything I'm showing you will be linked down below in the description of this video, so if you guys want to go see all of this for yourself. But Steven made this point, and it's unfortunate that the only people that are allowed to make points like these are people of color, because if you're anything else, they just deem you racist and they won't listen to you. And then if, you are, a person of color, then they just kind of disregard you and they try to, undermine anything that you're saying because you're going against their agenda. But so this is what Stephen says, remarking on how this breaks the lore of Tolkien's world isn't racism. If they and you actually cared about his work or about diversity, they'd explore the diverse cultures in Lord of the Rings instead of projecting white culture onto people of color. And I'm a POC telling you this. Yes, I agree with him 100%. And this was him responding to the OneRing.net screaming and crying about homophobia, racism, and misogyny when they don't even get their Lord of the Rings facts straight. But so take that in mind before I show you all of what I'm about to show you with the stuff that Mariana has said. Remember, the lore expert that they have hired for this show.
Tired of peeps saying, oh, X, Y, and Z celebrity is being canceled now. You mean being held accountable for racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic ideas or actions that have impact in the real world while having a public platform? Hashtag Hobbit musing of the day. In The Hobbit, Gollum is described as dark as darkness. What is this supposed to mean? And yes, I'm wondering here about the limits between the metaphorical and the racial. Hashtag Tolkien. Hashtag PhD chat. Today's hashtag Hobbit musing. The Hobbit describes Elrond as noble and fair in face as an elf lord. But what does this actually mean? Unless one already knows what an elf lord looks like, how are we to imagine the specific nobility and physical fairness? And beyond traditional portrayals of fairies and elves, does hashtag Tolkien ever mention that his elves have pointy ears? Hashtag PhD chat. Do elves lose their pointy ears when they become mortal? Hashtag asking the big questions. Now, this thread is in reference to the response to the article. I've seen a lot of depressing shit today. Reported as many of the vile, racist tweets as I could find today, and Twitter, unsurprisingly, has emailed me to let me know they didn't break the community guidelines. Now, we have the Lord of the Rings lore expert entering. Freedom of speech in it. I've been told in less than 24 hours that I am a disgrace, evil, and embarrassment, should be ashamed of myself, and a long etc. My solidarity to those experiencing the same or worse. I'm so sorry. It's okay. We're in this together. And I would not change a single word of that article for the world. Thank you for giving us a platform. You're doing the Lord's work. Racists can complain all they want. Ishmael Cruz will still be an elf, and he looks damn fine as one. Hugs. It isn't about race. It's about respecting Tolkien. Then why do you only comment on black characters? Why was my character poster the one featuring a black character receiving much more animosity than the others? Actions speak louder than words. Lore expert here. Respecting my idea of Tolkien, which may also be racist, fascist, white supremacist idea. Have y'all talked to the man to know what he thinks about your respect? Hint, you need a Ouija board. The Enlightenment was racist! Clap, clap, clap. I sometimes wonder if it's also weird by guilt by association. If you highlight the racist, misogynistic, homophobic content of a scholar's beloved text, would some conflate that with accusing them as individuals of being the above, and that's just not it? As a general rule, I never look at my comments on the YouTube videos I have participated in when dealing with hashtag diversity and hashtag Tolkien. However, since I had to look up these videos while updating my CV, I had to look at them and oh boy, apparently inclusivity politicizes Tolkien's work, thus insulting his legacy. Colorblind casting destroys the consistency of the world. People tend to relate to characters through feelings, personality, so bringing up appearance or race is just silly. My favorite, because I gave a lot of excuses as to why diversity is shoehorned into European culture products, and that counts as form of culture appropriation, even though Middle Earth is made up and death of the author. I quote, racial diversity diversity was not something that existed in pre-modern Britain in a way that would be recognized by contemporary critical theorists, because POC were never part of that world back then. Question mark, exclamation point. I have learned my lesson. Never look at comments again. This was her responding to more comments on that thread. Thanks. It's not really as bad as what other people have had to endure regarding the subject, but sigh. Some days POC get tired of having to justify our existence and feelings. Thank you. Wish white supremacists and covert racists would understand that.
Now, after me reading all of that to you, let me reread Stephen's tweet. Remember on how this breaks the lore of Tolkien's world isn't racism. If they and you actually cared about his work and or diversity, they'd explore the diverse cultures in Lord of the Rings instead of projecting white culture onto people of color. And I'm a POC telling you this. And not that it matters, guys, but I'm a person of color too. And so seeing the supposed lore expert go on a tirade screaming about racism just because somebody is criticizing her is honestly pretty pathetic and the biggest cop-out I've ever seen before. Just because somebody disagrees with you and presents to you, you know, maybe an opinion and a take on something that you're passionate about that you don't like, that doesn't make them a racist, that doesn't make them a white supremacist. That just means that they have an opinion that's different than yours. And so throwing names around like this and screaming and hiding behind your ethnicity, again, it's very, very pathetic, and I would expect more from a PhD, but I guess that's too much, you know, that's too much lenience, or too much to expect, I should say. Now, as I'm filming this, I have become aware that I am now currently blocked by this lady, so I can't pull up the tweet to make my point, so I'm just going to pull back Stephen's tweet up. So let me just point off something that she said that I read earlier that I can no longer show you. So she made a point about colorblind casting. Now, I agree. I have absolutely no problem with colorblind casting. If that person is the best person for the job, they're the best actor or actress for that part, for that character, they've given the best performance out of everyone that auditioned, and they just completely embody that role, I couldn't care less what color their skin, hair, eyes are. I don't care if they are the best person for the role. One of, you know, the top examples that I use is my favorite Disney princess when I was little was always Pocahontas and Cinderella. And my favorite live action version of Cinderella was Brandy's Cinderella. Now, that was completely colorblind casting. And I mean, one of the jokes that, you know, we all laughed about when we were all kids, it's like the prince is Asian, he has a black mother and a white father. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then the stepmother, Bernadette Peters, has a daughter that's older than her and, you know, another daughter that's black. Nothing about it makes any sense. But they were all the best actors and actors for the job, and it's a great movie, and it's a great rendition of Cinderella. And I didn't care as a kid. It was kind of, you know, it was the joke that it like, oh, the parentage of the prince doesn't make any sense. But who cares when it was a good movie? And I don't care if it's a colorblind casting and if they came out and said that, hey, we just picked the best people for the job, but that's not what they're saying. They're doing it because they want these woke points. They are trying to shove this agenda down our throats, and it's honestly doing a disservice to these actors and actresses that, you know, maybe, you know, this is what they've been waiting their whole life for, and these people are just using them as pawns in their weird little twisted game, right? And that's really sad, and it's very unfortunate for those people that they're literally just being used by that. I would expect, you know, these people that are screaming about like racism to not use people as pawns. You're literally just using these people that you're claiming are these racist attacks against, but you're the ones that are using them as pawns. You're not even looking at them as people. You're treating them like they're objects, like they're pawns in your weird twisted game. And that's why people are calling it out. And again, with Tolkien and everything that, you know, goes into the lore of Lord of the Rings and his world, yes, it did take place in a predominantly white area of the world, and these are quote unquote white-ish stories and mythology. Now, what would you expect if somebody decided to do some stories from Africa? Right? Some of the mythology and, some of, the tribal stories in Africa, and they took that and they took, a famous African author or, storyteller, and they took those beloved stories, and then when they did the casting for it, they hired a bunch of, white people. It would be a complete outrage. And so that's what certain people are trying to point out. Now, again, I haven't seen the show, so these two might be, these are, just two that Steven has right here. I don't, this is the Dwarven Princess, which I've seen more people complain that she doesn't have a beard because female dwarves are supposed to have beards. That's the biggest complaint I've seen. I haven't seen many people talk about her skin color. It's always, why doesn't she have a beard, is the biggest complaint. And then, the costume is an issue. But they're trying to paint it off as it's this race war, and it's not. It's just like, no, it's a cultural thing. And like Steven said, if you truly understood that and you cared about it, you wouldn't be treating people like objects and then screaming racism anytime somebody had an opinion that you didn't like or a take on this that you didn't like. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. We don't live in a world where people will sit there and listen to each other and understand each other for who we are and what we have to say. It's, you don't agree with me, I'm going to attack you. And it's pretty fucking pathetic in my opinion. But, it is what it is, I guess. And so I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention because it is extremely hypocritical, and it's extremely sad that this is the world that we're living in. And I just wanted to address this, as the darkness that, she mentions about Gollum. That is referring to, like, his soul and the fact that, it's hollow and it's dark because he's been so corrupted by the ring. And, I mean, if you watch any of those Sigmund University videos where they have the Tolkien experts and professors talking about that, they go into great detail explaining that. So I don't know why I'm explaining that to the PhD researcher, but there's, plenty of YouTube videos on that topic that I would just like to add in there. But anyways, everyone, let me know what you think about this whole situation down in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this new lore expert that they got working for the show? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, go ahead and smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. And if you haven't already, maybe take a minute, smash the subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I do videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Hey everyone, before you go, I just wanted to let you know, if you didn't already, that I actually have a Twitch channel where I go live almost every single playing video games. I've been going through the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic KOTOR, so if you ever wanted to know more about KOTOR and you wanted to watch somebody play through it, I'm currently doing my Sith playthroughs right now. They're a lot of fun. We all hang out every single day playing in this in the chat, and it's fun hanging out with all of you guys. And if you guys want to miss it, or if you missed it and you want to see it on the repeat, I actually have a live stream channel. This is my secondary channel, That's Star Wars Girl Live, where I re-upload all of my previous live streams. So if you ever wanted to see me live and you missed it, this is the channel to go on to go check out all of that content. Both of these are linked down below in the description of this video, so go check them out. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching my channel and my content. And if you would like to support me further, go ahead and check out my Etsy, The Art of Anna, TSWG, where I sell prints of my original oil paintings and drawings. I have a variety of characters, from landscapes to horror villains to Star Wars characters, DC and Marvel. So go check that out, and everyone, have a wonderful day. Thank you.